I'm Darla Hill. Some of you may know me from a chorus line or other shows that I've done. Being an actress entails a large part of the art of makeup, and that's what I'm here for today. We're going to talk about cleansing the skin, preparing it for makeup. We're going to be talking about moisturizing the skin to protect the skin, and also the removal of makeup, and how really to be gentle to yourself. After all, your face is the most important thing that you'll be showing to the outside world, so why not be proud of it? The first thing you want to do in the morning is get to the restroom to cleanse the face. It's a very important thing that you'll do in the morning. You should have a band, or a headband is good, or some sort of rubber elastic to put your hair back off your face, so you have a clear canvas to work with, like this. So just to make sure that you have the hairline is all covered and opened. Then what I do in the morning is I take a cleanser, any particular cleanser. If you have dry skin, you should really look for one that has more moisture in it. Or if you have oily skin, you should look for one for oily skin, or normal skin follows suit like that. And what I do is I take the cleanser, put it in my hand, palm of my hand, and I usually use a rough edge, buff puff, or some sort of sponge with a rough edge that you can get and exfoliate the dead skin, which is really important also, because the skin does shed quite a bit, so you want to help it to make the skin shinier and healthier looking. So that's the first thing we'll do. And actually, I start on my chin and I work up, always working in a circular motion upward. It also helps the circulation of the skin and gets the blood going. As you work around and out toward the ear. Never work in, because you're pulling the skin that way. So, and you work up to the forehead. Always work against lines. If you have any kind of lines at all, work against them. If they're vertical, you work this way, and vice versa. Also, the neck is a very important thing that you should also concentrate on, because that's part of what shows aging most rapidly, along with the under eye. So you want to take the sponge and also circularly move it upward like this. You can give it a good scrub. Be careful, though, not to pull. You don't want to be too rough, because you don't want to take the top layer off. You just want to remove some of the skin. Boy, that feels good. So after you do that, I use a toner. And this always is a very good thing, because it tightens the pores and also gets the rest of the dirt or oils from the night before off of your skin completely. So you get a real good cleansing that way. Again, it doesn't really matter what brand you use, because most of them are the same. So you also, again, you work up, so you don't pull the skin down and help gravity. It's also very refreshing. It's a very refreshing feeling. So you can just rub lightly on the skin. That takes the excess oil off. And on the eyes, gently. Make sure you kind of avoid this area, though. It's a very delicate skin part, and you don't want to dry it out or do anything. There's no pores there, so try to avoid that area. After the toner, what I do is moisturize. It's a very important thing that you do put moisture in your skin, even if you have oily skin, because moisture and oil are very different. So what I'll do is I'll add a little bit, not a lot. You want to use a light moisturizer for the day, because you don't want to get greasy throughout the day. A heavier moisturizer can be used at night while you're sleeping. That's when the skin tends to repair itself. Start at the neck, dab a little on the chin, on the cheeks, and on the forehead, and a little on the eye area. and under the eye, and work out. Also, you can do a little massage with your skin too. Finger massage slightly. Rub around the chin, then do the other side. Same way. Always rubbing out and up. Now that the moisturizer is applied, you're ready for the foundation. Or we're going to be doing a natural look right now. So what we're going to do is a very light, maybe you're going to the gym to work out, or maybe you're just doing an average day where you won't need a lot of makeup, or you don't want a lot of makeup to clog your pores or feel heavy. So what we're going to do is use a translucent powder. You can use a loose powder like this, or also they sell a cake of powder. Either one is just as good, so it depends on what you prefer. Put it in your hand, like this. Take a brush. Brushes are another very important thing that you'll be using to do makeup. Large brushes such as this are good for translucent powder. So you dab it like this so it doesn't glop on the brush. You don't want a lot. You just want enough to just spread out evenly. You can start with the neck and work up. Translucent powder is a very easy thing to work with, so you won't have trouble caking. Also, it melts down to your body temperature. So although it may look like a lot to begin with, when you finish, it blends in nicely to your skin. And also on the lips, you can put it. It holds lipstick better. Okay, now after the translucent is on, what you want to do is find a color that's going to be a natural tone, which would be like a brown. What you'll do is you put it on the lid lightly, and maybe a little up around the bone area. But make sure you blend that in. You don't want a heavy makeup. We're doing very, very light makeup. You just want a shading. It's an easy thing to do if you follow your bone of your eye. That is where the contour is. Don't go up over that, or especially do not go out. So just follow the indentation right there, which you can feel, and blend it in. Also underneath the eye, you can use the same color, or you can use another color. But in a natural makeup, I wouldn't go too much darker. You also take that and blend that either with your finger, or you can use a brush like this, specifically for smoothing powder out. Really, the important thing of makeup is the blending. You don't want to see where it stops and starts. Okay, now we'll do the other eye. A little on the lid. Kind of work outwardly too. Maybe in on the very corners. So after each application of different makeup, take translucent, put in your hand again like this, dot it, and apply it over the lid, under the eye. Next, another important thing is using concealer or an under eye cream to cover dark circles and to also bring up the eyes. So that's what we're going to be doing next. You should always use a concealer that's a half a shade lighter than your foundation or your skin tone. You do not want it to be the same color. So you take a little concealer, dot it on the back of your hand, and pat lightly under the eye. Always start from the corner of your eye and work out. Never rub or drag the eye. You'll tear your eye and you'll have amazing wrinkles there. So you want to dot it like that and pat lightly until it's all blended. Also, to bring it down just a little bit on top of the cheekbone there is a good idea. All right, after that, I'm going to translucent powder over it again. Very lightly. And now you're ready for blush. Usually for day or natural makeup, you want to use a light, just also again for shading. So what I do is I take a contour brush. This is what it looks like. It's usually flat and round on the end. I take a brown, not real dark, but a brown, so it's a shading. Start at the top of the cheekbone. You should feel it right there, and go down in that hollow part. Do the same thing to the other side, all the way up by the bone, but down further from it in the hollow, because on top of the bone is where the color will go. You should bring it all the way down to your cheek. And make sure if there's a line that you blend it. This just adds shading. It doesn't really add any color. It just really makes it more prominent. Then you can take a pink or an orange or whatever that you happen to be partial to. Dab it on the back of your hand again so you don't get too much at once. And put it right on the top of the cheekbone. I'm using a pink because it's a very soft look for day. Put it on top of the bone and also go down a little bit with it into the shading you've just done. Do the other side, on top of the bone and down, always down around your cheek area in front. You know, look at yourself face on too, so you can tell if it's balanced. You can add a little shading down here on your chin to outline your chin bone. And then another coat of translucent. Another trick is really very nice is something, spring water, before you put the final coat on. So you spray a little bit of this. And then the final coat. Like that. Now for lipsticks, you should also wear a very natural color. So I'm going to be using almost hardly anything. Very natural. Blend it with your finger. So the last thing that you do is mascara. Brown for day and more dramatic for night, black or colors even for evening. You don't need a lot because it's a daytime look. You want to keep it soft. Go to the corner of the eye and then work out. Also, the way you do your lashes, if you do it straight up, it's a more dramatic effect. If you do it, you can angle your lashes out, and that also makes you more exotic. Gives it more of an angle. And the bottoms. I use a waterproof mascara in case your eyes water at any point throughout the day. That way they don't get irritable or irritated, and it won't run. There's nothing worse than getting mascara in your eye if it's not waterproof. It's not a pretty picture. Okay, so we've just about completed our first day makeup. Very natural, and also keep your hair very natural. You don't want to do any do's when you're looking very natural. We'll change and we'll do something else. Now from our natural look, we're going to go into a more of a day look for 9 to 5, working normal days, or interviews, which I do a lot of. And you'll want to use a foundation. So we'll begin with that. The thing to remember in foundations, if you have dry skin, you should try and find an oil-based foundation. Or if you have oily skin, try and find a water base. So it works with your skin to help it in maintaining a balance, okay? What I neglected to tell you before, too, when you get up in the morning, before you do anything, a good thing to do for your eyes, and it feels great, is to put drops in. It also brightens your eyes and makes the whites really come out. So you can do that before any makeup is applied. Also, cucumbers. If you have puffiness, which I tend to get once in a while, cucumber slices is a great thing just to relax on a slant board for a few minutes before you put on your makeup, and let the cucumber slices just sit on your eyelid. It tends to take the puffiness down. All right, so when we start our foundation, I usually use a natural sponge. So that's what we're going to do. I added a little bit to my palm. I'm going to take the sponge, which is wet. You want to wet it and make it soft. Whirl it around like this. And start at your neck. Start at your chin and the neck area. And you work up. And out. What we're trying to do is even out the skin tone. As you get older, especially, your skin tends to get different colors, and you want to really even it out to make it look one tone. Also, make sure you bring the color down a little bit into the neck. Not a lot, but a little bit. You don't want to see makeup stopping at your chin. There's nothing uglier than seeing that. So just blend it down just a little bit so it looks like part of your skin tone. Like that. You don't really need to put on a lot of foundation, especially throughout the day. Just a little bit. Use translucent again. Same way we did before for the natural look, except now it's on top. Just gives it a little, it's heavier. All right, now we're going to be doing like a business office look. So what I would use with this would be colors like browns or golds or yellows even, depending on your skin color and your skin tone. So I'm going to take let me see, I think I'll use yellow to be a little more daring. What I do is I put it on the ball of the eye. You don't want to put light on the outside of your eye, because what the idea of putting eyeshadow on is to make an eye have a dimension. You don't want to look like you have a flat eye. So always put the light shadow or pencil in the ball area, like right in through there. I like pencils because they work very well. They blend well. Sometimes they stay on better than shadows, so depends on what you want to do and what you like to use. Experiment really is the whole game. A little more translucent. And then you're ready for the contour. Now, to use the contour, you should use a little bit darker. You can use browns or blacks, but usually a brown is good for the day, just enough to shadow and show some shape to the eye. So what you do is put it right in on the bone, and you can work down. Wherever your eye ends, you don't want it to bring, you don't want to bring it out. You just want to bring it exactly where the eye is. Take your finger and you blend it up and even into the eye like that. It's very easy because you have a bone there naturally that you can work with. You should take it underneath the eye like that. Now you see that's not blended, and see how hard it looks? So you want to take something and really make it much softer. Like that. All right, so see the difference in the two eyes? You have one that has a little more depth to it than the other one. This is more of a natural look as opposed to this is more dramatic, ever so slightly. So we'll do the same thing to the other eye. At the very end, you want to make like a, almost like a V, but going out and around. Work up, and just don't let it come out further than the eye is naturally. Now, for the color of the blush, I think I'll use an orange color, or staying in the natural tones. So what I'm going to do now is, first I'll use a contour, which will be a deeper brown, just to shadow in. You still want to stay a little light with this. You don't want it to be all about your cheeks. Okay? And then I'm going to use an orangey color. It's nice for summer, spring, and also winter. Usually winter you tend to go a little deeper with colors than you would in the summer and spring. So try and keep them more pastel-y, more poppy, spring and summer. Put it right on the bone where we did before with the natural makeup. Right on top there, and bring it all the way down. So when you look at it straight on, you look even. Okay, this is another very important tool that you'll be using. It's a lip brush. It also gives more dimension to the lip. You don't want a flat lip. Start at the outside, work in. Just really outline your lip. Like that. And then just use the whatever's left on the brush for the inside. So it's still kind of clear and glossy, but you still have a definite line. You don't want to go outside of the lip line because it will bleed into your other makeup. And also, you look clownish. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to use a black mascara. The application is exactly the same as before. Also, it's a good idea to have one of these combs. This is for your eyebrow, and this is for your eyelashes. If there's any glump of excess mascara, you can take it and, I'll show you, do this, and separate the lashes so they're not stuck together. Especially with new mascara or old mascara. a little heavier on the bottom too. You want to bring your eyes out. Keep hair natural. You can roll your hair or just leave it very casual for daytime. Just remember to use colors that go with your skin tone and not be too bright or too dramatic in the day. All right, we're going to change into another look. Okay, you've worked out at the gym, you've taken care of your body. You've also gone to work to make some money. Now for evening, what to do? Well, the first thing you do is pick out something that you want to wear that you look fabulous in. Then the makeup. So what we're going to do is do the same thing that we did before with the natural and into the business look, which is use foundation, which is really important, all over your face for an even tone. After that, translucent. The concealer underneath the eye to take out the dark circles and wrinkles. Also, again, translucent so it doesn't run. Put your hair up, it's a nice effect, and now you're ready. All right, the first thing I want to do is use a pink iridescent pencil for evening. It's pretty, it's like a pearlized kind of color, and it gives a nice effect. So we put it in the ball of the eye again. Also, you can go up above the bone this time, since you do want your eyes to look a little shimmering in the evening. Then what I use for contour for evening is a black. It's a nice effect. It's very dramatic. So what we'll start doing is put it right on top of the eye and blend out. With pencils especially, it's nice to use your finger. It works better than a brush would. Blend out. Also, the same thing we did before, put it right there by the bone and down. You kind of follow the part of the bone all the way around the socket. Also a little bit in here too. Also give the eye a rounder effect. Be careful though, you don't want to get the dark, the contour in with the pink. And if you do, it's not a problem, you just reapply the lighter pencil. Under the eye, make sure you put the pencil all the way around. And blend. Okay? The most important thing is to keep the same color scheme going throughout. If you're going to use pinks, try and use a pinky blush, pink lipstick, and pink highlighter. If you're going to use oranges, try and use browns and reds, things in the same tone. You don't want to wear red lips and pink cheeks. You want a total look. We're going to do blush. Now you can use also another brownish again to give the shading that you need. Right there in the hollow part of your cheek. And you can go a little more dramatic with this in the evening. You can get away with it. A little on your chin. Around the chin bone is a nice effect, especially if your hair is put up. You can also do a little color on the forehead. Just adds a little more life. And now for the blush, for the color that you want to set it with. I'm going to use an orange, reddish orange. Use the back of your hand so you don't get too much on at one time. Put right on the top of the cheekbone. And then work down into the color, the hollow. Brings it all the way down. Really look at yourself straight on, because it's really important that you get, when you look, an evenness in the color. Okay. Now for lipstick. For evening, I use a lip liner. So what I'm going to do is use a red lip liner, such as this one, to outline the lips. All right, for the inside of the lip, I want to use a same color, same family, but I want to use a little deeper. And that should be applied with a lip brush. Little mascara now, black. Or now is the time, if you really want to use colors, you can do that. But I'm still going to use black. It's a very dramatic look. It's a much nicer look, I think, than colors. So what you do is take a dark blue pencil and very gently, inside of the eye, line it. It just really brings out the eye. Like that. Okay, I think we've about covered everything. So, go out and have a great time.